second hour of BizCheck. I mean, the first hour is down. A great conversation on budget breakdown, the numbers, the stories they are telling, and of course, the stories they should be telling. That's a conversation that has just ended. But now, if you're joining us now, we just want to discuss something very interesting that is impacting the whole of Africa and the rest of the world. You know, digital technology. It's evolving very fast. And Africa, where 70% of the population is below the ages of 30, it has what we call the population divide, okay, or dividends, rather. And it has the capacity to power the rest of the world, because when you look at the rest of the world, the population is aging, more so in Europe and in the northern parts of America. You know, there is a population that is aging very fast. But in Africa, the population is getting younger and younger. And so Africa is the future workforce and the future brains of technology in the world. And so the question is, what do we need to do to position or to reposition Africa as the premier destination for tech workforce, for innovators, and of course for financial companies? Well, that's the conversation that we're going to have here. Isaac Kega is the Powerland Project Academy principal, or he's the principal of this academy, you know, which is targeting to train about and equipping them with digital skills by the year 2030. So far, they have managed to do about 30,000. They've been around since 2022. And so you can see that the demand is going to be monumental. Isaac, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Brian.
You know, talking to you, I mean, one gets a feeling of a person who is very passionate about digital issues and young people. Tell us more about that.
Okay, thank you, Brian. First of all, my name is Isaac Kega, head of academy or principal at Powerland Project. And also in conjunction to that, I'm also a lecturer at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, particularly undertaking AI and machine learning modules. So yes, I'm passionate about tech and also about mentoring the youth within Kenya and also the African context. And that's where the initiative of Powerland Project came into being from 2022 when we started off. We have been able to train, as you've said, 30,000, and we have a goal of training 1 million. And we do that through what we call a 16-week scholarship program we call the 1 million devs for Africa. So it's not only an initiative for Kenya alone, but also for Africa. Because if you go through the statistics and the daily reads within the world, as you have said, the world population, especially in the Western Hemisphere, is dwindling. And for Africa, the majority are the youth. So we need the African youth to take up these ever in demand tech skills so that they can be able to fill the gap that is being left by the aging workforce in Europe and America. So that's where Powerland came into being. And also with the advent of tech, SMEs are gobbling up a lot of tech, especially in Kenya, but they don't have the tech talent that is required. So that's also where we came in to try and bridge that digital divide gap. And also to ensure that tech is spread out throughout the areas of Kenya and Africa. If you look at Africa, I believe over 50% are in the marginalized areas. So these people around the town areas, but also with Powerland now we want to spread it also to the marginalized area through initiatives which we have been undertaken, which I'll be able to mention here, so that we can see that democratizing is not only democratizing within the urban areas, but also going out and democratizing within the marginalized areas.
You know, I was going through in January, you know, the World Economic Forum, they released a report titled The Future of Jobs. And they were talking about all the jobs that you are seeing today. By the year 2030, 22% of all these jobs will not make any sense.
True.
Okay, so 22% of the workforce will be replaced. And these will be replaced by new technologies, by machines, and by artificial intelligence. And so when you look at that, what then should we be doing to ensure that we get ready for the future?
So one thing which we have to understand is that there's been that, if I can say, worry that AI machines will come and take our jobs. But I think we have to look at it within another hindsight or within another lens, in the sense that a person who's using AI is now going to come and take your job because you're not using AI. So basically you have to equip yourself with these in-demand tech skills, AI and all of that, so that you can be a part of the ever-growing workforce. So one thing which you have to do is basically be in the right mind, take up the skills, position yourself quite ready to be able to take up these roles, and then be able to apply for the roles when they come up. And the reality on the ground is, yes, AI is here, but we're seeing new roles coming up. We need roles for AI experts, AI builders, machine learning engineers. So where are we going to get that? Through tech training. So because people are building, we need to be more of builders than more of consumers when it comes to these aspects of using tech. So we need to build more. And building more basically means now when you're building, you can either go into the tech ecosystem and be employed, or you can come up with your own ventures, which you have been able to see. And people are coming up with new solutions which they're able to scale up as startups and be able to employ more people to drive the solutions even further.
You are a lecturer at Jomo Kenyatta University of Technology, of Science and Technology. When you look at, for example, that institution and the people that it is training, is it training them for the jobs that the world needs tomorrow?
Yes. Yes, many institutions, I won't lie to you, I can't sit here and say they are not training. They are training for the job that is tomorrow. So what we do at Powerland is that we are not coming here to compete, we are actually supplementing them. And that's why you find us partnering with universities. Like, for example, at JKUAT, we have partnered with JHub. In ZTech, we are partnering with IZET. So basically, to have hubs within this university where we can be able to supplement this training with what we are offering so that we can equip these learners within a short period of time so that they can uptake the necessary skills and work readiness that is required. Because we do tech training, but many forget about work readiness. Being able to work, being able to communicate, being able to prepare for interviews, and that's where Powerland also comes in. We have a work readiness program which we ensure that once these learners go through the tech training, they are able to go forward and be able to communicate effectively with the people out there with what they are doing.
And so when you do a quick analysis of the current Kenyan labor market or job market, what gaps are you seeing and how can they be addressed?
So there are many gaps that we are seeing. First of all, infrastructure developers, that's a gap that needs to be filled in. Cloud developers and implementers, that's also another gap that needs to be filled in. Basically aligning, as I say, the work readiness, like the communication skill aspect and preparing people for job readiness. That's also another gap that needs to be filled. So if you look at all these gaps that needs to be filled, tech is revolving all around them. So that's where we need to position ourselves as Kenya and even as people within Africa so that we can be able to uptake these roles when they come to us. Actually, they're not coming, they're already here.
They're already here.
They're already here. So we need to know how we can be able to skill ourselves quite quickly and uptake that role.
When you look at Kenya, for example, and we're going through an overhaul of our educational system. We did away with 844. We started with CBC. Now we're doing CBE. The kind of education that the young people are getting now, and the young people I'm talking about, people who are joining, a school, even at kindergarten level, to primary school level, to high school level. Have we mastered the art of training them and getting them ready for the future world? And the future world today, nobody actually has an idea how it will look like.
That is a very good question, Brian. First of all, last year I believe the government launched the National AI Strategy. And if you look at that strategy in-depthly, it has that plan to enroll AI.
Actually, it is in April.
It's in April. Actually, it was
the National AI Strategy.
The National AI Strategy. It was in April
for 5 years.
For 5 years. So it's starting all the way from pre-primary all the way to university. So I believe the government has the right course of action to do, but
does the government know? Is the government in the know how AI is going to look like in the next 5 years?
I believe they have people within the government who are able to see, people technical like me when we advise them.
You see? Do you know how AI will look like in 5 years from now?
It will be very, if I'm honest, we are going into augmented reality. Augmented reality basically means is that Let's take, for example, 2020, COVID came in, we had to work from home. That was one new venture which we had to look into. Augmented reality basically means is that now we shall be able to supplement all these things, whereby if I'm going to shop, I don't have to go physically to that shop to shop for that product. I just put on my glasses and be able to pick up a product here and then be able to buy for it, and then it will be able to be provided to me. So you see, that's the kind of technology that we are going through when you're looking at tech as it's going up. If you look at health nowadays, we are having health diagnostic systems that can be able to scan you even and be able to pinpoint an issue with you, maybe cancer or anything. So you see that technology is going very fast, and we have to be able to plan for it. So that's where we are at this particular juncture. And when I'm looking at it, I believe we need more, as I said, we need more of implementers than more of consumers.
Let's look at ourselves, you know. And when you interact with statistics, I mean, you know, they tell you a story that gets you scared. I mean, you're talking about a country where 70% of the population is below the ages of 35. And you're talking about a generation where almost 85% of these people are jobless.
Okay.
And so what do we need to do? Are we creating the wrong jobs, or are we training our young people with the wrong jobs in mind, or what is happening? Or is the market not ready to absorb the young people with the technology and the skills they're coming into the market with?
I think that one we can be able to answer it in two folds. One, to be honest, I think most of the curriculum needs to be updated with what is happening out there. So that's one thing which you have to look at. When you're training a person, you have to train a person with what is happening out there in the industry. And that's where Powerland comes in, because we have, in conjunction with partners, and they tell us, by the way, we need this tech. Like, for example, I told you about the lack of infrastructure developers. There's a deficit of around 30,000. So the partner comes and tells us, by the way, we need infrastructure developers, cloud infrastructure developers. We have a quick turnaround of developing that curriculum, training those people and shipping them out to the partners who need them. So basically it's aligning what the industry needs and what is being trained, so that you can have that ready pipeline with all of that. Second thing, I believe, is all about mindset shift. Like, I believe right now, if you look at the revolutions that we have had, if I remember the revolutions of history, when we're talking about the agrarian, I think it was the metallic or something, those revolutions which we are talking about, the agrarian, there's the iron ore. Now we're in the to position ourselves with that we are able to, within our organization, perish, but they adopt what is happening. And that's how tech ecosystem together to thrive.
And when the train, what you schools to train the future.
Also, which even ourselves have taken trainers of. For example, we have with that having what an AI after we had trained the train, and children in primary to there's that aspect. We have to go and train. All ecosystem have to also partners like us and the tech able to do that are very important. We are in today trainers. That aspect.
In Powerland, who are the people target?
Youth of 18 to 18 to, and you just need the zeal, momentum. It's not a must dance, no. But the trainees we were medicine in your be doing bachelor. You have a computer or a laptop, and then you can be able to. Yeah, and currently for the June, so people that 16 weeks,
and it's free of charge,
as I said.
Once you are through, what happens next?
So, how the operates, and then a talent hub, whereby now talent hub, I said work test their suitability, place them within 3 you want to be. Just so ventures talent, real life solution points and be scaled up, start grow. Some of our alumni on of up with their own. This person had a, because he was doing gig work, but he came up with his own solution to be able to help people. Paid Kemalog for another nearly Sidale rides school kids to school. Maybe your school does not need your kids to school, so whereby Suzu and children, you tell them, then they're able to get to school, and other pain points. And one is where we place you in. I gave you that example of maybe I need a full stack mobile application. Them and then ship them off to work within that ecosystem. The other one is through gig work, because right now if you look at the kind of work we are doing, Upwork, Fiverr, so we also get projects for these learners to be able to do on gig work and be able to be paid on that. So those are the three lines.
How much does it cost you to train one student?
So training one student, if I look at the whole pipeline, if I was to do it in a mathematical term, it would be costing to around, if I was doing it in US dollars, maybe it would be around $1,800 US.
1,800?
Yeah.
Wow. That's about almost 200,000.
Yeah, because that, if you look at that, so we try and we, because through that scholarship, that's how we have been able to get these partners on board, and we'll be able now to say, hey, you need this talent, this is how much maybe it will cost, and then we train for you. That's why we try and train at scale on that. Yeah.
And you're talking about training about 20,000, 30,000 people in the last 3 years. Do you have a database of what they are doing and what has been the implication of the training?
Yeah. We have an alumni. We have a community of alumni. Also, Powerland has its own community. So from that community, we are able now to be able to track what each person who has gone to the program is doing, and also be able to curate, what do we call this? We call this advanced skills. They say you have trained to this program and then you come and realize that you needed to upskill in a certain area. We offer to you that upskilling so that you can be able to go back and be able to improve on what you have been doing. So we have a community, we have a database of alumni. We keep track of all the learners who go through a program, because that's really essential, because from them, that's where they're also able to provide work opportunities to the current learners who we are having.
And out of the 30,000, do you know the majority of them, they are in which field now? Or in which sector of the economy?
So majority of them basically are in agri-tech, and also in health tech, and also in ed tech. We have seen many of them develop solutions for ed tech. Yeah.
So And I like the fact that, you know, a lot of them are getting into the agriculture sector.
Yeah.
And when you look at this critical industry, I mean, it supports about 25% of the Kenyan economy. But when you look at the workforce in the agriculture sector, the average age of a Kenyan farmer is 65 years, which means that in the next 10, 15 years, you know, they're going to be wiped out through natural attrition. So these people who are getting into agriculture, what solutions are they bringing into this industry?
Okay, basically they are looking at improving the way, like let's take for example the supply chain between the farmer and the buyer at the end of it all, or even coming up with smart solutions to help in smart farming for agriculture. So those are the kind of solutions we are overseeing with these learners when they come.
Smart agriculture.
Yeah, smart agriculture. So it's not that the age, as I said, one thing I believe, even right now we are seeing that we're having an uptake of young people going into farming. Really, we have I've even friends who are farming in where do we call it, Lake Tok there. They are farming. Yeah, they are farming. They are doing onions, and they have implemented smart farming. And there are some of them, they are part from our community of PLP learners, and they are going there and they are doing the farming there with smart farming. So basically, it's basically looking at how can I incorporate tech in what I'm doing at this current juncture. Yeah.
And when when they are deciding that I want to venture in, for example, onion farming, are they guided by data? Are they guided by available information? Is it in this country, do we need more onions? Do we need more vegetables? Or what do we need more in agriculture? Because I believe that with the entry of young people, with the entry of technology into agriculture, I mean, now you'll be able to tap into the Internet of Things, into artificial intelligence, and you'll be able to know that this is what is needed most in Kenya.
Yeah.
This is what is needed most in this area. And this is what is going to be needed most in 2 years from now.
Yeah, so data is really important. Data is crucial in anything. So we know we are able to get that data from the KNBS, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. We have even open data initiatives that are there. And from this data, now that's where things like data analytics come into play.
Yeah.
So these learners have to understand how can I be able to get this data, scrape it off wherever it is, analyze it, and then be able to get the trends. Because a person cannot go into any venture without having a backing on data. So data is crucial. But once you have that data, what do you do with it? How do you analyze it? So that's where we are also going into that aspect. From that analysis, that's where it's able now to go and be able to tell this person this is the role or this is the role or the way that you're supposed to go with this farming. And basically that's what smart farming is all about. Smart farming is not only about IoT and all of that, it's also about data. How do you use data to improve soil moisture, fertilizer intake and all of that, humidity. So you have to understand how do I put all that in a box and be able to analyze and use it for better production. Yeah.
And when you interact with the people who are already in the markets, these young people that you have already trained, what feeling do you get after talking to them and when they give you their experience now in the market?
So when I talk to them, because we usually interact with them most of the time, they usually come to us with very new ideas. Actually, it's like mentoring. When you mentor a person, you send them out to the world, you see the kind of work they are doing, and they are now bringing back new knowledge, which you are now using to impact the current cohort of learners we have. For example, last week we had a partnership with Safaricom called the S-Hook cohort. And from that S-Hook cohort, we are able to graduate 300 learners. Yeah, 300 learners. And from those 300 learners, they came up with very good solutions. Very good solutions. There is one for Chama, for managing Chama finances. There was another learner of ours who came up with an application that, an IoT-based application that could help women in their menstrual cycle. So it was something that was really impactful. And if you look at the mentorship that was done, these learners had connection with the alumni of that cohort, and they also had mentorship from Safaricom engineers, where they're able now to come and scale up these solutions. So I believe it's something that is, if I put it out there, it's a whole 360 degree. You just don't go out there and you forget your home. You come back and you impact your home also. Yeah.
And I believe that in your training, you train both boys and girls.
Yes, we do.
Or men and women.
Men and women.
If you like it. But how is the equation?
Okay, the equation, yes, there's been that challenge of taking women into the into tech roles. So with our scholarship program, we have a provision that 40% of the applicants must be women.
40%.
40%.
Are you managing to meet that quota?
Yeah, we are managing to meet that quota. We have seen a higher number of ladies applying for the program, and they are really taking that tech role which they are going into. Yeah, so 40%.
And what is their completion rate?
Their completion rate, after they have come in, I believe their completion rate is around 35% of that.
35%?
They usually do that. They usually compete. Even if you go through our reels.
So what happens to the other 5%?
The other 5%, well, at the moment, when you're looking at that 5%, maybe they had challenges in, let's say, finalizing their project. So we usually have instructors on board who help them now go through the processes of coming up with their pain points, doing the solution, and then being able to roll it out. So at the end of it all, if I have 40% and 35 are graduating, the other 5, they will also be able to graduate within time, because as I said, it's a self-paced program. Actually, that I never made. It's a self-paced program. So you take it on your own pace, 16 weeks. So if you're not able to finish within 16 weeks, you usually have a period of time to finalize on your project and then be able to...
You can defer.
You can. Yeah, deferring, yeah. Can defer and then come back and continue. Yeah.
What about for boys? Do we say boys? Do we say men?
Men.
Men, yes. Let's talk about men. What is their completion rate?
The completion rate at this particular juncture is around 70%.
70%. So you have 30%.
30%. Yeah.
Do they drop out?
It's basically if I say it correctly, it's the speed at which they are able to complete their project, because it's 16 weeks plus 1 month of doing their project. So by the time we are finishing on that, and if they have not finished, we are able to transition those who have finished their projects, and then those other ones will take them to the next cycle, and at the end of it all, they still finish.
Let's also talk about the future plans. You're talking about training about 1 million young people by the year 2030. So you're talking about 970,000 in a span of how many years? In a span of
5 years.
5 years. And so you're looking at about almost 200,000 young people every year.
Yeah.
And at a cost of 200,000 Kenya shillings, then you realize that it's not going to be a walk in the park. Is this target realistic?
It's realistic if we bring on board partners, because that's what we have done. Basically, like also partnering with even the Ministry of Youth Affairs. I believe we were at KSG yesterday.
Yeah.
We was able to pitch the same idea to the CS, Honorable Salim Mvurya, and I was really interested in that, because through that they have the database for the youth, so then we can be able to uptake that and be able to train all those youth on crucial tech skills. We have also been able to have what we call a county partnership model. One good case example is Kilifi County, where we trained 350 and 50 absorbed into the Kilifi digitization program. So you see, we have all these partnerships that are going in board, and they're also supporting us where they can, and we are able now to be able to achieve that goal. Which I believe is achievable. Nothing, as long as God is alive, everything is achievable. And there's a will to do that.
There is a will to do that.
There's a will to do that.
And of course, I mean, this is not something that you can just do on your own.
Yeah.
It requires, strategic partnerships with various organizations as well as government.
Yeah.
So when you look at the public and private sector, who is more responsive in working with you?
I believe both of them are responsive. Yeah.
Okay, who is more responsive?
Both of them.
They are more responsive.
They are all responsive, because one thing they have realized is that the youth are the future of anything. So if you're not seen to be working with the youth, then you'll be seen to be working against the youth. So they have to bring in their partnership aspects into the picture, so that they are, because these are the future. So if you're not working with the future, what are you doing? That's the big question.
Very good.
Yeah.
Isaac, as we come to the end of this conversation, what else do we need to know about Powerline Africa?
So as I said, we have an ongoing call for applications for the June 2025 cohort.
Yeah.
Just go to our website, powerlandprojectafrica.org, and you can apply there. We also have an initiative we call the AI Safari. So the AI Safari is basically where we now democratize AI within universities and TVETs around Kenya. We were able to do that last month in Jomo Kenyatta University, where we had over 500 learners coming on board and learning how to build applications using AI and also using agents AI in all of their things. And basically we are now trying using the AI Safari camps to move them from Nairobi to the outskirts of Nairobi, going to Nakuru, Kisumu, Mombasa, so that we can be able to bring them on board. So they go there, register for AI Safari, register for a June 2025 cohort, and let's get building.
Very good.
Yeah, true.
Isaac, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you,
for your
Brian.
time this morning.
Yeah.
And of course for what you're doing with the young people.
Yes.
They are the future.
They are the future.
And the future is today.
It is actually now, right now.
It's actually right now. Very good.
Yeah, true.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, Isaac is the principal. Isaac Kega is the principal at the Powerland Project Academy, and of course helping to upskill young people with the necessary technology to face today and of course to face tomorrow. As we have said, the young people are the future, and the future is now, is not tomorrow. Well, O'Brien Kimani is my name. I mean, for the last 1.5 hours, almost 2 hours now, I mean, we've been here, you know, oozing out wisdom and, of course, having some great conversations here. Conversations to build this nation, conversations to build you, and of course, conversations that are relevant to today and tomorrow. Well, we have Kurunzi coming up next with Kasichana Masha. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you for watching this check. We do this again on Thursday next week. Until then, have a good afternoon.